Welcome to part 11 of the video series on Spoken English Fluency 2.0, the course where we guarantee you that you can improve your spoken English skills, you can improve your fluency in just 21 days in the English language. Not months, not years, just 21 days. Just keep on following the advice, just keep on watching those videos that we have posted already, and you can improve your English in a very short span of time. That is what we guarantee in this particular course. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic. How do you change your attitude towards English? Because if you do not change your attitude towards English, if you keep on fearing English will keep on haunting you, and that is what I do not want. I want you all to enjoy English. I want you all to embrace English, because English is easy and I will make it easy for you. Just follow whatever instructions I have been telling you. Just follow the advice. Look at the amount of information that I have been giving you through the earlier videos. If you have not watched my earlier video series, I request you to go and watch all those 10 videos that has been uploaded in this particular YouTube channel, and you will understand why this is important. In today's episode, in today's video series, I'll be trying to give you 2 important tips that will kill all your fears of English. And the topic that I'm going to discuss today is how do you conquer 100% of your English in just 20 minutes. Just give me 20 minutes and I will give you those wonderful tips that will help you improve your English by 100 notches up. And let us start with a particular presentation. Now look at the biggest fear. There are 4 parts in any English language. There is reading, there is writing, there is listening and speaking. Now if you look at the biggest struggle obviously is listening. The biggest struggle obviously is speaking. The biggest struggle is writing. You have these struggles on a daily basis. The biggest struggle is speaking, when people are not able to speak. And the second biggest is listening. When people speak, you're not able to understand. And obviously because of these 2, you're not even able to write. Now you have to understand, in an earlier video, the link will be available somewhere on the top through the I suggested video. How do kids learn? I have already discussed this. The kids start with the listening process. They listen, they observe, they mimic, they try to copy your particular statements for a very long time. They do that for 1 year, 2 years, and then they start speaking, and then they do reading, and then they do writing. But as grown-ups, we have totally reversed the entire pyramid. We start reading, writing first, and then we do this listening and speaking part. That is the wrong way. That is not the natural way of learning. That we have already discussed. In today's particular video, I'll be talking about a very important, fundamental important topic. Now this is the process of acquisition of a language. This is how language is actually processed. Look at your entire system, look at your brain, look at your entire body as a machine. There is some kind of an input inside your body that comes in, into your brain that comes in, and there is some kind of output that comes out. What is the input? The input in terms of English can be listening and reading. The more you listen, the more you read, the more your database inside your brain will keep on building on a daily basis. The more you listen, the more you read, the database inside your brain will keep on increasing in terms of English language, in terms of English words, in terms of English phrases, in terms of English questions, in terms of the pattern of English. And once you are ready with that particular information, your brain will process it, and then you can be able to speak and write, which is the output part of it. The output part of speaking English and writing English. So there is an input that you have to give, and you have to understand. Without input, there can be no output. So if you have not listened, if you have not read a lot, you will not be able to speak and write. This particular slide is the crux of the entire English language. I told you 100% of English in 20 minutes. This is the slide that speaks about the entire language 100%. So you have to keep on inputting as much input, put in as much efforts into listening and reading, and you will automatically find that your speaking and writing will go through the roof. You will automatically be able to speak in a very good way. Now, how do you do that? You have to keep on repeating it. You have to keep on repeating the listening and reading exercise again and again. You have to practice it. You have to ensure you do it so much times that it becomes a part of your muscle memory. You know the sentences, you know the phrases, you know the vocabulary. You have practiced it so many times that you automatically start speaking without any problems, because that has become a part of your subconscious memory. Now you can speak without thinking, because you have practiced it so many times, because it has become a part of your muscle memory. Do you remember the time when you are driving? If you have driven a four-wheeler, if you have driven a two-wheeler, you did a training for 4 days into a four-wheeler. Suppose you are trying to learn driving a four-wheeler. There is a training for 4 days that you do. But after that 4 days, you never need to relearn that entire driving lesson. That 4 days is enough, because it becomes a part of your muscle memory. You know when to press the accelerator, you know when to press the brake, you know when to press the gears, when to change the gears. Why? Because it has become a part of your muscle memory. So you have to practice for a minimum number of hours. In an earlier video, again the link will be provided somewhere on the top, I have told you it's 10,000 hours. The magic number is 10,000 hours. If somebody practices any craft in this world, be it music, be it dancing, be it literature, be it any particular craft, if they master it for 10,000 hours, they will become an expert, the world-class expert in that. You need not spend 10,000 hours, just spend 1,000 hours on English, just spend 500 hours on English. Just keep on listening and reading, and your English will automatically improve. And you will find these are real life examples. This is the concept 10,000 hours given by Malcolm Gladwell. You can go verify it on the internet. Whatever I am saying is not my own creation. I am telling you, I'm just passing you the message, which is the best practice in the industry. If you can just do this, your English will fly through the roof. Once you have practiced to this particular level, you will suddenly feel as if a volcano inside of you erupts. You have put in a lot of input, you have done a lot of listening, you have done a lot of reading. Automatically you will find your English starts moving to a next level. Now there is a stumbling block. You have to understand there is a stumbling block. The stumbling block is fear of talking English. But let me tell you, this fear is wrong. You are not fearful of talking in English. English is not the real fear. The real fear is something else. The real fear that you feel when you have to speak is public speaking. Even if you were told to speak in your mother tongue, in front of a stage, in front of 4 different people, you will feel this fear. So don't confuse. It is not English that you are fearing. It is public speaking that you are fearing. You are confused between these two words. Once you have to stand and give a speech to someone, once you have to stand and address 5 people, even in front of your friends, if you have to stand, it is public speaking that you are fearing. It is not English that you are fearing. And this public speaking is one of the top fears in the world. In US, public speaking is a greater fear. People fear public speaking greater than death. वो मर जाना पसंद करेंगे, लेकिन पब्लिक स्पीकिंग नहीं करना पसंद करेंगे. तो आपका जो फियर है इंग्लिश के बारे में, इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट योर इंग्लिश. There is a mixture of public speaking fear also into it. So do not fear. That is the point. And keep on practicing. Once you have practiced, this fear will automatically go out. Once you are 100% prepared for a particular exam, once you are totally clear with the entire syllabus, once you have read the entire syllabus twice, thrice, you have practiced it multiple number of times, your fear is no more. You go to the exam, you go to the interview, and you give your best shot. Why? Because you have practiced it so many times. So that is the reason. But again, this particular fear is called glossophobia. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. What happens when you start getting any opportunity to speak? When somebody asks you a question in English, it is kind of a public speaking opportunity. You are sweating in your hands, you are shivering, your legs are shivering, you are blanking out, your entire mind is blank. You do not know what words to use, you do not know what sentences to use. Your heart starts pumping very, very fast. You have a quivering voice, your voice starts shaking. Why does it happen? It does not happen just because of English fear. Just because you fear English, this is not happening. It is also because you have a fear of speaking in English. So do not confuse this fear, is my honest submission. And how do you change this fear? That is the crux of this video. I told you I will tell you what are those tips which you can use so that you do not fear speaking English, so that you do not fear public speaking. What are those two tips, two very very important tips that you can do so that you do not fear speaking in English at all? Now once you are totally prepared, I told you, if you have spent 10,000 hours, if you have spent a lot of time on reading, on listening, the input part of it, you have put a lot of input inside your system, the output will automatically be amazing. The output will automatically be easy for you to deliver. Now for this is a particular presentation slide. If you have to give a presentation somewhere, what you say should just be 10%. Suppose you have to say 10 words, you should be ready with 100 words in your background. And that is the success secret that most of the speakers, the best speakers in the world, use this particular formula. If they have to speak for 1 minute, look at the lower line that I have written over here. For every 1 minute of speech, they have worked, they have researched, and they have practiced for 1 hour. If that is the level of preparation that you have done, you will never fear speaking. You will never fear speaking in English, because a lot of labor has to come in, a lot of input has to come in, a lot of listening, a lot of reading has to happen before you can start speaking, if you have done like this. But again, this is a long way of doing it. This can discourage a lot of you students. So there are tips. I'll give you 2 tips. I have promised you I'll give you 2 tips today. And the first tip is that you do not want to work much, you want the tip. Let me give you tip number 1. Tip number 1 is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. You have to ensure that whatever language you are speaking, whatever words are coming out of your mouth, you need not always be fancy. When you look at the stars, when you look at the new TV news anchors, when you look at somebody who is very good in English speaking, you will find they are using high frequency words, they are using difficult words. But simplicity is the ultimate of sophistication, is what Leonardo da Vinci said. If you are using simple words, even that can solve the problem. You need not go for high fancy words, you need not go for studying the entire dictionary. Your simple communication can even convey the message. Let me give you a very important statistic. In one of the videos that I had discussed on the speech given by President Obama, I'll be giving the link on the top, it will be in the I section. President Obama gives a speech to entire of America and to the entire of world. That was his winning speech after he had won the US presidential elections. He gave a speech out of which 93% of the words could be understood by a class 6th student. Yes, 93% of the words that he had used were extremely simple words that could be understood by any simple 6th grader student. Why did he choose those words? Because according to Census of India 2011, only 8.15% of Indian are graduates. 8.15% only are graduates. Rest are not even 10th pass, rest are not even 12th pass. They do not have the basic level of qualifications. Their IQ levels are not very great. Similarly, in the US, you will find that bachelor's degree holders in US is just 33.4%. What does it mean? The other people will not be able to understand your difficult messages. So it is not always necessary that you craft your messages in a very difficult way. Use simple words, use simple messages. And let me tell you, look at the copywriters, look at the advertisements, look at the authors, look at the businesses, look at the politicians, look at the language that they use, look at the bureaucrats, how they talk to you. You will always find that they use simple words. The simplicity is the solution because they are talking to simple people. But what do we as students do? When we start learning English, we try to master the difficult words at the initial part. We try to memorize the entire dictionary. That is not required. Even if you can convey your language in the simplest form, that is enough. And that is a strategy. Imagine, that is a strategy being used by the copywriters, by the authors, by the businesses, by the politicians, by the advertisements that you're seeing. Look at the messages in the advertisement. Those are very simple messages. No complicated, no fancy words are used. So when you are communicating, do not do this error. Be simplistic, and that is tip number 1. Let me move on to tip number 2 for the day. What are the benefits? Let us look at the benefits before we move on to tip number 2. What are the benefits when you talk simple? When you talk simple, it reduces the amount of word list that you need to mug up. Number 1, word list ज़्यादा नहीं पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Sentence 2, your message will be crystal clear and easy to understand for anybody. Even a 6th grader can understand what you're talking about. People will love you because you're speaking in simple language, and they will thank you for being simple. And with this one particular advice, you will reduce your effort by 50%. Now I'm telling you, chuck off, remove that 50% of the dictionary. In fact, throw the dictionary away. The dictionary is not required. The common words will keep on repeating. I have discussed it in an earlier video. Again, I'm telling you, if you have not watched my earlier videos, go watch the earlier videos. Whatever the important words are will keep on repeating again and again when you are conversing with the common people, and what words are not important will not come. So this particular hack, this particular tip of talking to a 6th grader using a language which is very simple will solve 50%, will reduce your syllabus by 50%. No more word list to memorize, but this will help you achieve 90% of your goals, because your communication will now be simple, your words will now be simple, but the message is getting conveyed. Your English is improving. That is tip number 1. Let me move on to tip number 2. Now, people love to talk. You have to understand, everybody loves to talk. People love to talk about what is the latest thing that they are doing in their life, how is their life growing up, how they've traveled the particular destination, what are the things that they enjoy most in life, what is their son doing. There are so many topics. There is a plethora of topics that people love to talk on. Let me tell you a particular story, the best example of how you can understand people love to talk. The longest speech given to the United Nations lasted nearly 8 hours. The speaker was V.K. Krishna. V.K. Krishna, an Indian delegate to the United Nations, gave a speech of 8 full hours. 8 hours in 1957. That was a Guinness World Record. Guinness Book of World Records. It was entered into that particular thing because he loved to speak. People love to speak. When you go to a particular person, when you meet your relatives, when you meet your old uncle, aunt, you will find they love to speak. You just need to pinch a particular topic, you just need to prod them, and they can speak for hours and hours and hours together. And that is the secret. How you can do the secret, how you can use the secret. Let me give you the Harvard study before I tell you this. People love to talk, that we have seen. Everybody loves to talk, that we have seen. They love to talk about themselves the most. They love to talk about themselves. They are not interested in politics. They're not interested in whatever is happening outside, but they love to talk about themselves. Now, it has been proved through research that when they talk, it gives their brains as much pleasure as food and money. The talking part of it gives these people, including you, it is as good as you are earning money out of it. It is as good as you are earning money or earning food. When you eat food, you get a certain amount of enjoyment. Similarly, when people talk, they also get the similar amount of enjoyment. That is the beauty of when people love to talk. In fact, a Harvard study was done. I'm extremely sorry for the background noise. In fact, a Harvard study conducted to explore the peculiar behavior, it was found out people are willing to pay People are willing to pay somebody to listen to them. That is a Harvard study. That is so much important. That is how much important speaking is for many people. They want to speak, they want to be listened to. What is your job in that case? Listen. When you're interacting with somebody, when there is somebody whom you want to talk to, listen to them. Because once you listen to them, you will always find that they will start loving you for that. Because everybody wants to be listened to. What should you be doing? The next time when you go to a particular person, Pose some smart questions. Be ready with some questions. Get your man or woman to speak your heart out. They let them speak their heart out. When they speak, listen with undivided attention. Just listen to them, because they will keep on loving to talk. They will keep on talking about their particular private life, their particular whatever is happening in their life, whatever good, bad, ugly is happening inside their life. They love to talk. So just listen with undivided attention. And when they are talking, in your mind, frame some beautiful questions. Frame some beautiful questions, so that again you give them a particular question and they again start talking for another 15 minutes. When they are done after 15 minutes, you give them one more question and they can again continue for the next 30 minutes. And in that way, you become an excellent communicator, because they feel that you are trustworthy, you are listening, you are giving them their undivided attention. They will have great amount of respect for you. Whatever your business you have gone there for, suppose you have gone there for making a sale, suppose you have gone there to convince them, and you're just listening to them, you will find amazing results coming to you once you listen to their thought processes, their ideas. So that is an amazing tool. So what should you be doing? What is the winning tip? Be ready with questions. Be ready with innumerable number of questions. Be ready with at least 200 to 250 questions which you can use in social settings. And once you do that, it's listening your way to English. Suppose you go and meet a particular person. Suppose you go and meet a particular teacher or a old grandpa, somebody who is good in English. You are ready with your 200 questions. You pose one question, they will start speaking, you listen. You relax back and listen to the entire conversation that they have to speak on. After they are done, after 10 minutes, you pose another question, and then again you keep on listening to whatever has been happening in their lives. And in the entire process, what is happening is they are doing the speaking for you, you are listening, and you are also in the entire process increasing your listening skills. You are increasing the inputs inside your brain in your target language, in English language, because you are just posing questions, they are talking in English. That is an input for you, and once your input increases, I told you, once that 10,000 hours, once that 1,000 hours of English listening has happened, your English will automatically improve. Your English will automatically start growing through the roof. Now, if you want those questions, what are those questions? What are those questions that you must be ready with? This is the particular book that I was talking about. I have been talking about throughout the entire course. This is the book that I have compiled over a period of 5 years. It has taken me 5 years to compile this book. How to speak fluent English and impress people in 30 days. Not 90 days, not 1 year, just 30 days. Now in this particular book, I have compiled all those 200 questions that you must be ready with at any given point of time. Those questions will help you make an excellent communicator. People will love talking to you. If you have improved your listening skills, people will love talking to you. Just pose the right question, play the button, they will start speaking, you start listening, and you become an excellent speaker. And in a few days from that particular point, the point you start out from, you will find your English has improved amazingly. Want this book? The link is provided. You can go to Amazon Kindle, you can download this particular book, and you can read it for free, because if you have an Amazon Kindle subscription, you can read that particular book for free. All the 200 questions are already covered in this particular book. And once you have those 200 questions, you are ready to go, you are ready to rock in English. With that particular phrase, let me just wind up the presentation for today. If you have not liked, subscribed our page, please do subscribe. Please do comment with your feedback, with your suggestions, because that matter a lot. I'm doing a video after a lot of days, but I hope you're watching the playlist section also. Go watch the playlist section. It contains amazing resources on how you can improve your English in a very short span of time. Just 11 videos, and that will not take you more than 2 hours. In 2 hours, you will feel an immense amount of improvement in your English skills, in your spoken English skills, in your fluency skills. Just go there and watch the playlist section. It was a pleasure interacting with you. See you in the next video series, that is video series number 12. Thank you so much. Amit Kumar signing off. Thank you.